That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
we
you want one
can't,
quick question?
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yeah. There's that. What's next? We had a little bit of a spectacle at Paige's at Paige's introduction, man. Paige's introduction.
Over to Howard Megdal. Go over to Howard Megdal.
So if y'all don't know why Paige made that face and started smiling at the end, what had happened was Howard had some intel and he reported that Paige was considering not going to the WNBA or holding off from playing for the Dallas Wings for an entire season until the new CBA kicked in next season. And so that's what he was reporting and things of that sort. And it was kind of like this whole thing of like a pocket of people, especially after Dallas won the lottery, of like, she's not going to play for Dallas. She's not going to play for Dallas. She wanted to go to LA. She wanted to go to a big market, this and that. And it's the exact same kind of type of talk that people have. Yo. Okay, we back. But yeah. It's the same talk that people had around Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese last season of, why would you go back? Why'd you get the money if you go back? Where'd you get this if you don't go to the WNBA? They're not going to go to the WNBA. They won't make as much money. And I don't know. I think all of them see the value in the league, and that's a beautiful thing that they all see the value of the league and they're supporting the league. They're going to get their bags eventually. You know what I'm saying? They won't get their bags out the in terms of just direct bags from the WNBA and their teams. They're not going to get the type of bags that, the future kids are going to get, but they're still going to get bags and they still respect the league. And when you grow up, bro, like if you play your sport, if you play basketball and you're a guy, you want to go to the NBA. If you play football as a guy, you want to go to the NFL. If you play baseball as a kid, you want to go to the major leagues. If you play basketball as a girl, you want to go to the WNBA. It just is what it is. So it's like, if that's your dream growing up, you're not going to hold off for the sake of, just business. You know what I'm saying? You want to show up. I'm supporting the league. I'm here because if we don't show up to uplift the league, who will? If we don't show the value in our league, and we want to wait to ABC, then other people won't respect our league as well. So there's that. And I'll pull up the actual thing from Reddit that just kind of and shout out to Howard, by the way, amazing journalist. I've sourced him a couple times in reports. Namely, the first time I remember was, I think it was like 2017 or 2018 with the Dallas Wings when Skylar Diggins-Smith was just there. And he did a story about her with Complex, and in it, Skylar Diggins-Smith was talking about the media landscape. She was like, mostly white men are covering our league. We don't have enough black women covering our league, and the league is mostly black women. So I asked her about that comment, and she further responded on it, because I was like, how is it when you come to Atlanta and you see this, where it was like Autumn Johnson was out there at the time. She was like, independent baby, you know what I'm saying? Student journalists and things of that sort. Who else was there? It was them, Autumn Johnson. It was Taylor, her camera person, Autumn Johnson, Taylor, and LaChina Robinson. She shouted out LaChina, Jamila Johnson. So she was just shouting out all the beautiful black women that were covering the game and things of that sort. And she shouted out Howie. And Howard, he shouted me out. He said, "Thank you for this, Rashad." So shout out to Howard Megdal. And he's got a book coming out on Caitlin Clark too, with pre-orders available now. So get the pre-orders. However, with that being said, this was something that he said, and apparently Paige did not like that he was reporting this. Going to sum up, so Complex Chicken 0311, is this Complex Chick Reba? My dog, shouts out to Reba if this you, but on the WNBA on Reddit. Going to try to sum it up, but you can read the article for the full story. CBA, the WNBA's media rights were worth around 25 million, growing to 35 million a year over the life of the last CBA signed in January 2020. I'm intentionally not using things like Ion deal in this calculation since it did not exist when the CBA was last signed. The new media rights deal is going to check in when all the games are sold, somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 games that. Eight times that, excuse me, my bad. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 times that. Media rights is by no means the only revenue stream for the WNBA, but as with any league, it is the biggest. WNBA owners only own around 42% of their own teams, with the NBA owning 42% of the league and the remaining 16% belonging to the world's best bargain hunters, the folks who paid $75 million for it back in 2022. If you thought it was a good deal already, Sportico reported that this past week that expansion teams coming into the WNBA will dilute the ownership stake of the WNBA owners, but specifically not the NBA or 16 percenters. Will the NBA take the greater cost? Will the independent investors? There's a case that the WNBA effectively needs to make within its own structure beyond simply getting WNBA owners on board. At a moment, their stake in the league's success is getting reduced. Paige Bueckers, he is aware that she's reiterated that she won't be taking a 6-year, but she still thinks that she might not be. He still thinks that she might not be a Dallas Wing. He thinks it may be it may well be the most beneficial thing Paige Bueckers could do for the NBPA is not play in the WNBA in 2025. He then thinks she could declare for the draft but tell the Wings that she won't sign with them, go play for the Turkish league and make 7 figures, play for Unrivaled, another pro league, or Maverick Carter's new venture. She could sign a deal for a video podcast to follow her around the world, attending sporting events. She can monetize TikTok she makes with AZ Fudd. The world belongs to Paige Bueckers. Most importantly, he also states multiple WNBA teams tell the 9 there's no indication in which way she's even leaning at this time. That's crazy. Yo, that's crazy work, Howie. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. That's why that's the backstory behind this.
Go over.
And he asked her another question, and she just passed the microphone to the general manager. So there is that. Who just happens to be the former coach, Kurt Miller, as you guys know, Connecticut Sun, and the Los Angeles Sparks. Okay.
That steps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one
can't
quick question?
ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.